Greetings, Algo Artisans. Is GameFi taking over? We're going to take a look at Floki, Beam, and Illuvium today. We're going to jump into the charts right now. Okay, so here's Floki on the charts, and before we actually do too much work on the charts, we're going to take a look at what Floki is. Floki is a gaming token, and to describe it, it's the people's cryptocurrency, and this is all according to actually CoinMarketCap in their description. It's the utility token of the Floki ecosystem. It's a cryptocurrency birthed by fans and members of the Shiba Inu community and is inspired by and named after Elon Musk's Shiba Inu. Now, there was some recent news where that dog actually died recently, and I believe this coin got a little bit of a pump from that on the low timeframes, but in the end, this project does seem to be very popular and it has a lot of people very interested in it. Now, it says here that Floki Inu is working on 4 flagship projects: an NFT gaming metaverse called Valhalla, a suite of decentralized finance products launched under the FlokiFi umbrella, an NFT and merchandise marketplace called Floki Places, and content and education platform called University of Floki. Now, I do think that GameFi in general is a great spot for crypto. I mean, think of the NFT value of like certain skins, custom skins for your characters, different kinds of weapons, different sorts of just video game items that you can literally buy and sell to each other. And wherever you have something you can buy and sell, there's always the opportunity for DeFi. So let's actually take a look at the website. We have a ticker here showing a lot of different news outlets that have talked about this: CoinDesk, Financial Times, Forbes, CNN, MTV, you name it, all the big names have talked about Floki, apparently including NASDAQ. So that's some news exposure. Here's the Valhalla game. So this is specifically the actual game on which the NFT metaverse is going to be based. This is the staking, but this is the DeFi right here. So there really is a ton of opportunity here. FlokiFi, TokenFi, here's your NFTs right here. Very diverse system, all based on the gaming universe. So Floki does have a lot to offer, listed on Uphold, Kraken, massive. So here's some news you can take a look at as far as where Floki is available. Revolut, which is huge, not in the United States, but Revolut is massive over in Europe in particular. And of course, you have some updates for the video game. So very, very popular. Let's take a look at the tokenomics. Market cap of 2 billion, 24-hour trading volume is actually a pretty good chunk of that. It's about 1/6 of the entire market cap. So there's a fair amount of volume for Floki. Circulating supply is massive. This is one of those kind of gaming NFT tokens where you got 9 trillion tokens, 10 total supply. So most of the supply is already circulating. So there isn't really any concerns about some project owners, people who've been holding the token since the beginning of the project dumping on it. Now let's go over to markets so we can see where this coin is available. We just talked about some of those places, but you have Gate, Binance, BingX, Deepcoin XT, OKX, KuCoin. A lot of your major exchanges are holding this, right? BitGet, MexC, Bybit, HTX. So definitely easy to find, and it is available on some DEXs as well here towards the bottom of the list. OpenOcean, not a lot of volume on the DEXs, so this does appear that you're going to have to find it on a centralized exchange, a CEX, in order to get some decent volume. So let's look at the chart. Okay, so good looking chart. Of course, crypto is coming back in general after the post-halving doldrums, right? After the post-halving fall. So Floki showing a very strong look, a little bit parabolic of a rise, just a hint of parabolic, which is always a good sign. Lows are being bought sooner and sooner and sooner. And if we take a look at some of the local highs going back to March, we can see that 2676 and 3165 are what we're looking at. And this particular formation does kind of look like it's about to spill upwards, right? You have these little consolidations getting smaller and smaller as this goes higher and higher, as the lows keep getting higher and higher. So this is definitely a bullish look from a price action standpoint. I'm going to take a quick look at the algos here, which say lightly bullish on the daily. What that can mean is that it's winding up for a big move. And I can tell you on the weekly, the algos are very strong, very, very bullish on the weekly. So I do expect for this coin to pop up pretty soon here. And this does depend a lot on what Bitcoin is going to do, but if I had to guess a price path, we might see price consolidate a little bit longer here and then pop up to negotiate this resistance at 2675. And it may simply pop above that, or it might consolidate a bit before it does and make its way up. And again, the rest of the market does seem to be looking to head back up after the halving retracement, so I imagine this coin is going to do very well in that case. And again, a lot of attention the last week or so on this coin. So that's what I expect for price action. Of course, if I were to take a higher time frame look as it goes into price discovery, recovery using a Fibonacci extension tool. If I were merely to trade this and not buy and hold, I'd be looking to sell maybe at this high to take some profit off, which is at 31.65, and the next target's around 37.50 and 45.30. So that's our look on the charts for Floki. Let's move on to Beam. So Beam, as it says right here, is the native crypto asset for Beam Network. It's a gaming network empowered by the Merit Circle DAO. Beam's an ecosystem where gamers and developers come together to shape the future of the gaming industry. One of its core components is Beam SDK, which is a flexible software development kit that enables game developers to choose between a variety of tools that can be used to fuel and structure their in-game elements. So Beam is required to interact with the Beam ecosystem. It's essentially a gas token that fuels the Beam network. It's also the heart of the governance of the Merit Circle DAO. This is a decentralized autonomous organization, was brought to life in early 2021 to revolutionize the gaming industry. So holding Beam allows you to participate in that DAO. Quick look at the tokenomics before we look at the website here. Market cap is $1 billion, 30 million in trading volume, so not that healthy of a trading volume compared to its market cap, but still it's notable. I mean, $30 million is a lot of money. This could merely mean that this is the calm before the storm. I would want to look at trading volume going back, say, about a week or even a month to see what the general volume is. This is merely 24-hour trading volume, and given that we're starting a holiday weekend, this figure could be a little bit low. I'd want to monitor this over several days to see what might be going on. The total supply is 62 billion. The circulating is 49. So about 4/5 of it, maybe 5/6 of it is out. So there is a decent amount of token holders. That always is a bit of a concern. However, going into the bull market, I wouldn't worry about that too much. Let's go ahead and take a look at their website. This is the Merit Circle website, right? So this is the DAO. You have to hold Beam to operate on this. Beautiful looking website for the Merit Circle. So we got smart contract accounts, uninterrupted gaming experiences, just like in the old days. So this whole website is very much kind of retro gaming. You got a very Nintendo-ish looking cartridge there. And then this top graphic here is very Atari. That right there, very Atari. So I like this style, definitely. Someone put some real effort into this website, which, that means they probably have at least a pretty decent budget. So Beam SDK, they were talking about that earlier, programmatic control over accounts and transactions with great flexibility, chain agnostic product suite. That's going to speak to the versatility of the product suite, not necessarily sticking to one chain. They've got their companion app, native game asset marketplace. So really, it's a pretty all-inclusive token and ecosystem here. By gamers for gamers, you can actually create here, and then there's more about the DAO governance here. So really a good-looking website. Let's take a look at the chart. Okay, so we got Beam that has consolidated after the post-Bitcoin halving sell-off, and we do have a bit of a range that's developing here. Now, as price breaks out of this and forms perhaps a new range or simply starts to head up, I would look to this prior range for some more plays here. This is a pretty clear, decently clear look here, where price was rotating back and forth, at least up to a point. So price may find some resistance right around the 36.74 area. Now, if I were to do a high time frame look as to what might happen, some upside targets once the rest of crypto starts to really take off, I would go ahead and use my Fibonacci extension tool. And if I were just simply to trade this rather than buying and holding it, I would have targets at 51600, 613, 50-ish, right up in that area. And I might even, as I usually do, take some risk off as it touches this recent high at 44,275. Now, with the algos, let's take a look at what those are saying. Nice little uphook on the daily, so price does want to head up, but is it supported on the high time frame? Yes, it is bullish on the high time frame. So if you understand how to read these algos, which I can't really release all that information here, I can say that the algos are calling for a move back up after this retracement. And it would make a lot of sense just from a very simple price action standpoint. This is on the weekly. This is very high time frame. You have an uptrend, higher highs, higher lows, and then we just made a new low here. And that new low was in the prior consolidation area. So it would have enough liquidity off of this prior consolidation to bounce and head up. And of course, the targets I've already talked about. So let's move on to the next coin. Okay, we'll take a look at Illuvium, which actually is a decentralized gaming studio that merges online gaming with cryptocurrency. They create a uniquely functional, evolving, and high production value NFTs that are playable in a universe of play-to-earn gaming titles. So this really is where I think the gaming and NFT world meets. And I think the NFT and gaming world is just, they're a match made in heaven, really. So this crypto seems to be more focused on a high-quality game. You have the market cap sitting at 600 million, and 1% of that is being traded right now, but again, we are in a very quiet time, right? So we're just at the beginning of a holiday weekend, so I would want to see what this was like a week ago. Now, the circulating supply is about 2/3 of the total supply, so there might, of course, be some periods in time where you have the project owner selling into the market. However, I would imagine during a bull market, that's not much of an issue. If it's truly bullish, the owners of those tokens won't want to sell necessarily because they're going to want to hold on to it to make more money. Illuvium sitting at 92.22. Given that lowish circulating supply, of course, then each of these coins is going to be filled with more money. So let's take a look at the markets. This can be purchased on MexC SushiSwap, so definitely some DEX action here for Illuvium. Binance, BingX, BitGet, Coinbase, that's huge. OKX, KuCoin, Bitmart, Uniswap, so definitely some DEX action and pretty good volume on SushiSwap. That's actually some decent volume, 800,000, but most of the volume is on the centralized exchanges. Let's take a look at the website. Good looking website. This is a kind of a high quality 3D game, right? So this is one of the things that this boasts over other cryptocurrencies is the 3D aspect of this game. And it's a suite of games, real good looking website. And there is also a DAO and there's staking. You have all the DeFi aspects of this as well. Here's the marketplace. You got Illuvium Beyond. They have their own DEX. So on their news page, there's information about patches to games, airdrop details, definitely some big stuff going on here. Looks like Samsung is involved. Samsung being a massive company, so that's actually a pretty strong partner to have on there. And they have merchandise, so great coin. And listed on Coinbase should tell you quite a bit. Coins usually don't make it onto Coinbase until they're ready to do some pretty big stuff. So let's move on to the chart. Okay, so the weekly chart here does look like it might be ready to take off, but usually when you have such a big move up on a high time frame, and then you have a retracement all the way back down to the prior low, that does show a little bit of weakness, but you know what? A lot of coins are weak right now. This is a period of time after the halving when crypto does tend to dry out for a while and a lot of the altcoins do head down. Now the coins that stay up higher, of course, are going to be stronger. There are coins better than this and worse than this, but let's take a look at what the algos say first, and then we'll go into the price action. Bullish in the high time frame. It's not as bullish as other coins that I've seen, but relatively bullish. Let's take a look at the daily here. Okay, so the daily does algorithmically appear like it needs to consolidate before it's going to head up, right? So you do have a lukewarm bullish high time frame on the weekly, and then you have this consolidation happening on the daily. And right now, it seems like a range might be building around this metric right here. We'll see. It could actually dip a little bit deeper. I'm going to go ahead and just hold it here because we have some decent price action down in this area going back to when things shocked down, but it could be that the range actually consolidates into here. We just don't have enough data yet to identify that range. We do have the highs though, and the highs are going to be important in the near future. Now what's probably going to happen right now is Illuvium is going to gather some liquidity here. Now there is a decent amount of local liquidity in this area from this consolidation, and price may simply go and touch the top of that, or it might go to the bottom of that, but either way, price probably is going to head down to this area, grab some liquidity, and possibly head back up. It's just that that might actually bounce all the way down here as well. So be that as it may, once price has the juice to get out of this area, it should pop up and start to test this upper range that was developed during more bullish times and shortly thereafter, and I would look at something like this. I'll look at price maybe bouncing up here. We don't know if price is going to consolidate more or less. It might take more time down here. It might bounce around in here for a minute, but eventually I think it'll make its way up into here, and the sooner it breaks out of this upper range, the stronger it is. Now, if I were to look at a high time frame set of targets, I would take the grander extension here, and if I were simply to trade this as if I thought this was going to head up from a bottom, my upside targets would be at these Fibonacci extension points, roughly 185 and about 220. So that's what I would look at for my upside targets on these. Okay, so that's some good data on GameFi. I hope this video was helpful. We over at AlgoFactory.tech help traders develop their own trading method, their own algorithm. You don't have to know how to computer code, although if you do, that can be advantageous. A lot of our traders are simply manually using their algos, just like you see me doing on the screen. However, we have a couple who've already coded some of their algos. As a matter of fact, let's hear from one of those right now.
Hey, Cowboy V, I just wanted to give a heartfelt thanks for putting this project together. I initially joined Algo Factory a year ago, concerned about a repeat of the 2008 great financial crisis and the prospect of losing my job again. Within 12 months, under V and Cowboy's expert tuition, including live reviews, I've created a profitable algorithm launched across a selection of assets. Now, facing the prospect of redundancy and a nice fat severance package to trade with, my current worst case scenario is to keep my job. Thanks again, guys. Really appreciate what you've done here.
All right, thanks for listening to that. Remember, head on over to algofactory.tech, trade your job, upgrade your life. See you on the next one.